The wind howled across the frozen wasteland of Greenland as Dr. Amanda Clark pulled her thick coat tighter around her body. She had been walking through the snow for 3 hours, following the strange readings on her equipment. Behind her, too, other scientists struggled to keep up with her fast pace. "Amanda, slow down," called Jake Morrison, the team's rock expert. His breath came out in white clouds as he spoke. "The ice scanner is going crazy. We need to check what's wrong with it." Amanda stopped and turned around. Her face was red from the cold, but her eyes were bright with excitement. "The scanner isn't broken, Jake. It's picking up something big under the ice. Something that shouldn't be there." Lisa Hayes, the teen sea life expert, caught up with them. She was breathing hard and looked tired. "What do you mean, something that shouldn't be there?" "It's just ice and rock down here." Amanda held up her device. The screen showed strange patterns of light that moved in ways that made no sense. "Look. At these readings, the ice down there is old, very old. But there's something inside it that gives off energy." Jake took off his thick gloves and grabbed the scanner. He looked at the screen for a long time, his face getting more confused with each second. "This says the ice is over 12,000 years old, but look at this energy reading. It's like something alive is down there." The 3 scientists stood in the middle of the white wilderness, staring at the small screen. Around them, the wind made the only sound. The nearest town was 200 miles away, and their base camp was still 5 miles behind them. "We need to dig," Amanda said. Her voice was firm and decided. "Whatever is down there, we have to see it." Lisa shook her head. "Amanda, we don't have the right tools to dig through that much ice. And if we're wrong about this, we could waste weeks of work." But Amanda was already walking toward a large hill of ice that rose up from the flat ground. The scanner in her hand was beeping faster and faster as she got closer to the hill. When she reached the bottom of it, the beeping became so fast it almost sounded like one long noise. "It's right here," she said, pointing at the ice under her feet. "Whatever it is, it's right here." Jake and Lisa walked over to where Amanda was. Standing, Jake pulled out a different device and pointed it at the ground. This one used sound waves to see through ice. When the results came back, his mouth fell open. "There's a space down there," he said quietly. "A big space. And there's something in it." For the next 6 hours, the 3 scientists worked to melt through the ice. They used hot water and special tools to slowly make their way down. The work was hard and slow, but Amanda pushed them to keep going. She knew they were close to finding something amazing. When they finally broke through the last layer of ice, Amanda's flashlight beam hit something that made her heart stop. There, frozen in perfect clear ice, was a man. But this wasn't just any man. He was wearing some kind of suit that looked like armor, but made from materials none of them had ever seen. The suit was black with blue lines that seemed to glow even in the ice. The man's face was peaceful, like he was sleeping, but his skin looked perfect. Not old or damaged like it should, after being frozen for so long. "This is impossible," Lisa whispered. She was staring at the frozen man with wide eyes. People didn't live here 12,000 years ago, and they sure didn't have technology like that. Jake was taking pictures with his camera, but the flash wasn't working right. Every time he tried to take a photo, the camera made strange sounds and the picture came out blurry. "The electromagnetic readings are off the charts," Amanda said, looking at her scanner. "There's so much energy coming from him that it's messing with our equipment." The 3 scientists spent the rest of the day carefully cutting the ice around the frozen man. They had to be very careful not to damage him or his strange suit. As they worked, more strange things happened. Lisa's watch stopped working. Jake's radio started picking up signals that sounded like voices, but in no language they knew. When they finally got the ice block free, it took all 3 of them to lift it. The man inside didn't look heavy, but the block weighed much more than it should have. "We need to get him back to the lab," Amanda said. "Whatever this is, we can't study it out here." They called for their helicopter to come pick them up. While they waited, Amanda couldn't stop staring at the frozen man. There was something about his face that seemed familiar, even though she was sure she had never seen him before. The helicopter pilot, a man named Pete Garcia, looked confused when he saw what they wanted to load onto his aircraft. "What is that thing?" he asked. "It's a person," Jake said. "We found him frozen in the ice." Pete looked at the block of ice and shook his head. "That ice looks wrong. It's too clear. And why is my compass spinning like that?" Amanda noticed that Pete was right. All of their compass needles were spinning in circles instead of pointing north. The closer they got to the ice block, the faster the needles spun. During the helicopter ride back to their research station in Alaska, more strange things happened. The radio stopped working completely. The helicopter's computer screen showed numbers that kept changing by themselves. Most scary of all, Pete said the helicopter felt like it was flying through thick water instead of air. "There's something very wrong with that ice block," Pete said when they landed. "My helicopter has never acted like that before." At the research station, Amanda and her team moved the ice block into a special room where they could control the temperature. They set up cameras and sensors all around it, then began the slow process of melting the ice dot. As the first layer of ice melted away, the energy readings got stronger. The lights in the building started to flicker. Other scientists in the station complained that their computers were acting strange. "Maybe we should slow down," Lisa suggested. "All this weird energy can't be safe." But Amanda couldn't stop now. She had been studying ancient ice for 10 years, and she had never found anything like this. As more ice melted, she could see the man's suit more clearly. It had writing on it, but in letters she didn't recognize. Late that night, Amanda was alone in the lab, watching the ice melt. Most of the man's face was now clear of ice. She could see that he looked young, maybe 30 years old. His hair was dark brown, and he had a small scar on his chin. Then something happened that made Amanda's blood turn cold. The man's eyes opened. They weren't normal human eyes. They glowed with a bright blue light that lit up the whole room. The man looked right at Amanda, and she could see intelligence in those glowing eyes. He was awake. He was aware. And he was looking at her. Amanda tried to move, but her feet wouldn't work. She tried to call for help, but no sound came from her mouth. The man in the ice was still looking at her, and she could feel his mind touching hers. Then, as quickly as it had happened, the glowing stopped. The man's eyes closed again, and everything went back to normal. But Amanda knew that whatever was in that ice was no longer sleeping, that it was waiting. Amanda didn't sleep that night. She sat in the lab, watching the ice block as it slowly melted. Every few minutes, she checked the sensors to make sure the man inside was still frozen. But she couldn't forget those glowing blue eyes looking right at her. When Jake and Lisa arrived in the morning, they found Amanda sitting in the same chair, holding a cup of cold coffee. "Did you stay here all night?" Lisa asked, looking worried about her friend. Amanda nodded. "Something happened last night." His eyes opened. They were glowing blue, and he looked right at me. Jake laughed, but it wasn't a happy laugh. "Amanda, you've been working too hard. People who are frozen solid can't open their eyes." "I know what I saw," Amanda said firmly. She pointed to the security camera in the corner of the room. "Check the recording if you don't believe me." Jake walked over to the computer that recorded everything in the lab. When he tried to open the file from last night, the screen went black. Then strange symbols appeared on the screen, symbols that looked like the writing on the frozen man's suit. "The computer is broken," Jake said, but his voice sounded nervous now. Lisa was checking the sensors around the ice block. The temperature readings are all wrong. The ice should be melting at a steady rate, but it's not. Some parts are melting faster than others, like the ice is choosing where to melt first. By noon, most of the ice around the man's head and shoulders had melted away. His strange suit was now clearly visible. It looked like it was made from some kind of metal, but it bent and moved like cloth. The blue lines on it were definitely glowing now, very faintly, but getting brighter as more ice melted. Dr. Helen Brooks, the head of the research station, came to see what all the excitement was about. She was a serious woman who had been studying the Arctic for 20 years. Nothing usually surprised her, but when she saw the man in the ice, her face went white. "Where did you find this?" she asked quietly. "In the glacier, about 50 miles north of here," Amanda answered. "The ice is over 12,000 years old." Dr. Brooks walked around the ice block, looking at it from every angle. "This technology, it's not from any country I know. The materials, the design, even the way the suit seems to be connected to his body. This is beyond anything we have today. So what do you think it is?" Jake asked Dot before Dr. Brooks could answer. All the lights in the building went out. Emergency power came on a few seconds later, but the normal lights stayed off. "The power grid is overloaded," Dr. Brooks said, checking her phone. "Something is drawing too much electricity." They all looked at the ice block. The blue lines on. The man's suit were glowing brighter now, and the air around the ice seemed to shimmer like heat waves. "We need to speed up the melting process," Amanda said. "I think he's trying to wake up, and the ice is stopping him." "Are you crazy?" Lisa shouted. "We don't know what this thing is. What if it's dangerous?" But Amanda was already setting up the heating lamps. "Look at his face. He's not some monster. He's just a man who got frozen somehow. He might need our help." As the heating lamps warmed the ice, the melting went faster. Within 2 hours, the man's arms were free. His hands were covered by gloves that seemed to be part of his suit. On his wrist was a device that looked like a watch, but with a screen that showed numbers and symbols. "His heart is beating," Lisa said, looking at the medical scanner. "Slow, but steady. His brain is showing activity, too. He's definitely alive." The man's chest began to move up and down. He was breathing, even though most of his body was still in ice. "This is impossible," Jake said. "No one can survive being frozen for thousands of years." Amanda was watching the man's face. His eyes were moving under his closed eyelids, like he was dreaming. Maybe the suit kept him alive somehow. Maybe it's some kind of life support system. At 4 in the afternoon, the last of the ice melted away. The man lay on the metal table, completely free, but still not moving. His breathing was getting stronger, and the blue lines on his suit were now bright enough to light up the whole room. Dr. Brooks had called the government to report what they had found. She was told that a team of military specialists was on their way to take control of the situation. "We don't have much time," she told Amanda. "If this man wakes up, I want us to be the first ones to talk to him, not the military." At 6 o'clock, as the sun was setting outside, the man's eyes opened again. This time, they stayed open. The blue glow was softer now, not as scary as it had been the night before. He looked around the room slowly, taking in everything he saw. Then he sat up. Amanda gasped. The man moved like he had never been frozen at all. He looked at his hands, then at his suit, then at the 4 scientists staring at him. "Where am I?" he asked. His voice was clear and strong, with an American accent. "You're in Alaska," Amanda said carefully. "At a research station. We found you frozen in the ice." The man looked confused. He touched his head with one hand, like he was trying to remember something. "How long was I frozen?" "We think about 12,000 years," Jake said. The man's face went pale. He stood up from the table, and Amanda saw that he was tall and strong-looking, despite being frozen for so long. He walked to the window and looked out at the snow-covered landscape. 12,000 years, he said quietly. Then I'm too late. Much too late. Too late for what? Dr. Brooks asked. The man turned around to face them. When he spoke, his voice was sad and tired. My name is Captain Ryan Cross. I'm from the United Earth Defense Force. I was sent back from the year 2157 to warn humanity about what's coming. The four scientists looked at each other. Lisa was the first to speak. That's impossible. Time travel doesn't exist. Ryan held up his wrist device. The screen showed a date, March 15th, 2157. In my time, Earth was dying. An alien race called the Void Collective had invaded our planet. We were losing the war. I volunteered for an experimental mission to travel back in time and change history. But something went wrong, Amanda said. It wasn't a question. Ryan nodded. The time machine exploded as I was being sent back. I was supposed to arrive in 2025, but instead I was thrown back much further and trapped in the ice. The temporal energy from the explosion has been keeping me alive all this time. Jake laughed nervously. This is crazy. You're telling us you're from the future? Ryan looked at Jake with those glowing blue eyes. What year is it now? 2025, Doctor. Brooks answered. Ryan's face showed relief. Then there's still time. Not much, but some. The Void Collective won't arrive until 2089. Humanity has 64 years to prepare. Prepare for what? Amanda asked. For the end of everything, Ryan said. Unless we can change the future I came from. Suddenly, alarms started going off throughout the building. Dr. Brooks grabbed her radio. What's happening? She asked. Military helicopters approaching from the south, came the reply. At least 6 of them. They'll be here in 5 minutes. Ryan's suit began to glow brighter. They're here for me, aren't they? Dr. Brooks nodded. I had to report finding you. I'm sorry. Ryan walked to the window again and looked at the approaching helicopters. I understand, but I can't let them take me. I have work to do. What kind of work? Amanda asked. Ryan turned back to face them. When he spoke, his voice was determined and strong. I have to save the world. The sound of helicopter blades got louder as they came closer to the research station. Ryan stood by the window, watching 6 black military helicopters land in the snow outside. Soldiers in heavy winter gear jumped out and ran toward the building. I'm sorry, Ryan, Dr. Brooks said. I had to tell them about you. Ryan nodded. I understand. You are doing your job. But I can't let them lock me up. Too many people will die if I don't warn them. Amanda stepped closer to him. What are you going to do? Before Ryan could answer, the lights in the building went out completely. Even the emergency lights stopped working. The only light came from the blue glow of Ryan's suit, which was getting brighter every second. The temporal energy is getting stronger, Ryan said. I can feel it changing me. Heavy footsteps echoed in the hallway outside the lab. Someone was shouting orders, but the words were hard to understand through the thick walls. United States. Military. A loud voice called out. Open the door and come out with your hands visible. Ryan looked at the 4 scientists. Whatever happens, don't try to stop them. I don't want anyone to get hurt. The door to the lab burst open. 6 soldiers rushed in, pointing their weapons at everyone in the room. Behind them came a man in an officer's uniform with the name Patterson on his jacket. I'm Colonel Steve Patterson, the officer said. We're here for the subject you found in the ice. Ryan stepped forward. I'm the one you want. Let the scientists go. They haven't done anything wrong. Colonel Patterson stared at Ryan's glowing suit. What are you? I'm human, Ryan said. Just like you, but I'm from a time that hasn't happened yet. One of the soldiers pointed his rifle at Ryan. "Sir, should we take him down?" "No," Colonel Patterson said quickly. "We need him alive. Use the containment device." Two soldiers brought in a large metal box with wires and electronic parts attached to it. When they turned it on, it made a high-pitched, whining sound that hurt everyone's ears. The device was meant to stop electrical energy, but when they pointed it at Ryan, something unexpected happened. Instead of making his suit stop glowing, the blue light got even brighter. The metal box started smoking, then exploded in a shower of sparks. "The containment device isn't working," one soldier shouted. Ryan held up his hands to show he meant no harm. "I don't want to fight you, but I can't let you take me prisoner. You don't have a choice," Colonel Patterson said. He pulled out his sidearm and pointed it at Amanda. "Come with us quietly, or we'll consider the scientists as dangerous as you are." Ryan's eyes began to glow brighter. The air around him started to shimmer and wave like heat rising from hot pavement. "Don't threaten them. They're innocent." Amanda could feel something strange happening to the air in the room. It felt thick and electric, like right before a lightning storm. Her hair was standing up, and she could taste metal in her mouth. "Ryan," she said quietly, "your powers are getting stronger." Ryan looked at his hands. Blue energy was dancing between his fingers like tiny lightning bolts. "I can't control it. The temporal energy is reacting to stress." One of the soldiers fired a special net at Ryan. The net was designed to carry electricity and would knock out a normal person. But when it hit Ryan, the electricity was absorbed into his suit. The blue lines on his armor glowed so bright that everyone had to cover their eyes. When the light faded, the net had disappeared completely. "Fall back," Colonel Patterson ordered his men. "Call for backup." But Ryan didn't attack them. Instead, he did something that amazed everyone in the room. He walked through the solid wall like it was made of air. The soldiers ran outside, but Ryan was nowhere to be seen. Their equipment couldn't track him. Their radios weren't working. Even their vehicles wouldn't start. "He's jamming everything." "Electronic," Colonel Patterson said into his backup radio. "We need more men and better equipment." 3 hours later, Ryan appeared at Amanda's house, 200 miles away from the research station. Amanda was sitting in her kitchen, drinking coffee and trying to understand what had happened. When she saw Ryan standing in her living room, she jumped up and almost dropped her cup. "How did you get here so fast?" she asked. "I can move through solid objects now," Ryan said. "And I think I can travel faster than I should be able to. The temporal energy is changing my body in ways I don't understand." Amanda sat back down. "Are you really from the future?" Ryan sat across from her at the kitchen table. "I know it's hard to believe, but I can prove it to you." He held up his wrist device and pressed a button. A small hologram appeared above the table, showing a view of Earth from space. But this wasn't the Earth Amanda knew. This Earth was dark and broken. Cities were burning, and strange black ships filled the sky. "This is what Earth looked like in my time," Ryan said. "The Void Collective had been attacking us for 3 years. Most of the planet was destroyed." Amanda stared at the horrible image. "What are they? These Void Collective?" "We never learned much about them," Ryan said. "They don't communicate. They don't negotiate. They just destroy everything living they find. Their ships are made of some kind of dark matter that our weapons couldn't touch." The hologram changed to show a massive battle. Human ships were fighting against the strange black vessels, but the humans were clearly losing. "This was the last battle," Ryan said. "The defense of New York. After this, there was nothing left to defend." Amanda could see the pain in Ryan's glowing eyes. "How many people died?" "Everyone," Ryan said quietly. 7 billion people. "I was one of the last 100 humans alive when I volunteered for the time travel mission. Amanda reached across the table and touched Ryan's hand. His skin felt warm, but she could feel energy moving under it like electricity. "Why did they choose you?" she asked. "Because I had nothing left to lose," Ryan said. "My wife died in the first attack. My children were killed when they destroyed Chicago. I was already dead inside. The time travel experiment was dangerous, and they needed someone who didn't care. If he survived." "But you did survive," Ryan nodded. "The explosion that sent me back in time changed me. The temporal energy fused with my body. I'm not completely human anymore." As if to prove his point, Ryan stood up and walked to the window. He put his hand against the glass, and it began to glow blue. Then he pushed his hand through the glass without breaking it. "I can control matter at the molecular level now," he said. "I can phase through solid objects, manipulate electromagnetic fields, and I think I can even affect time itself on a small scale." Amanda watched in amazement as Ryan pulled his hand back through the glass, leaving it completely undamaged. "The powers are getting stronger every day," Ryan continued. "Soon I might be too powerful for anyone to stop, even myself." "Is that why you won't let the military capture you?" "Partly," Ryan said, "but mostly because they would waste too much time trying to study me. We only have 64 years to prepare for the invasion." "That sounds like a lot of time, but it's not. We need to start working now." "What kind of work?" Ryan's expression became determined. "We need to unite humanity. In my timeline, Earth fell because every country fought alone. We need to build technology that can hurt the Void Collective. And we need to train soldiers who can use that technology." Amanda thought about everything Ryan had told her. "You want to change the entire course of human history." "Yes," Ryan said, "and I need your help to do it." Before Amanda could respond, the lights in her house started flickering. Outside, they could hear helicopters approaching again. "They found me," Ryan said. "I have to go." "Wait," Amanda called. "Out, how will I contact you?" Ryan smiled, the first time Amanda had seen him look happy. "Don't worry. I'll find you when I need you." Then he walked through the wall and disappeared, leaving Amanda alone with the impossible story of humanity's future. 2 weeks had passed since Ryan escaped from Amanda's house. During that time, strange things happened all around the world. Power grids failed for no reason. Military satellites stopped working. Weather patterns changed in ways that made no sense. The governments of the world knew that Ryan was responsible, but they couldn't find him. He appeared in different countries every day, always staying one step ahead of the people hunting him. Amanda received a phone call at 3 a.m. She recognized Ryan's voice immediately. "Meet me at the old observatory outside town," he said. "Come along. We need to talk." Amanda drove through the dark mountain roads to reach the abandoned building. When she arrived, she found Ryan standing on the roof, looking up at the stars. But something was different about him. The blue glow from his suit was much brighter now, and the air around him seemed to move and twist. "You look different," Amanda said as she climbed up to the roof. Ryan turned to face her. His eyes were glowing so brightly that she had to look away. "The changes are happening faster now. I can feel myself becoming something that isn't human." "What do you mean?" Ryan held up his hand. Blue energy danced between his fingers, but this time it formed shapes and patterns that looked almost alive. "I can control energy directly now. I can see electromagnetic fields with my eyes. I can hear radio signals from satellites. Sometimes I can even sense what people are thinking when they're close to me." Amanda felt scared but also amazed. "Is that how you knew I would come here tonight?" "No," Ryan said with a sad smile. "I knew you would come because you're a good person who wants to help. But I can sense your emotions. I know you're afraid of what I'm becoming. Amanda sat down on the roof beside him. I'm not afraid of you, Ryan. I'm afraid for you. What happens when you become so powerful that you can't relate to regular humans? Anymore? Ryan was quiet for a long time. Below them, the lights of the town looked tiny and far away. That's what I wanted to talk to you about, he finally said. Today something happened that proved I'm losing control. What happened? Ryan stood up and walked to the edge of the roof. This morning, the military found me in Colorado. They surrounded me with 200 soldiers and the most advanced weapons they have. Their leader, General Patricia Stone, ordered me to surrender. Amanda waited for him to continue. I didn't want to hurt anyone, Ryan said. But when they started shooting, my powers reacted automatically. I created an electromagnetic pulse that knocked out every piece of electronic equipment for 50 miles. Cars stopped working. Hospitals lost power. Planes fell out of the sky. Amanda gasped. Were people hurt? 3 people died when their plane crashed, Ryan said, his voice full of pain. They died because I couldn't control my abilities. Because I'm becoming something dangerous? It wasn't your fault, Amanda said. You were defending yourself. That's what I keep telling myself, Ryan said. But the truth is, I felt good when it happened. For just a moment, I enjoyed having that much power. That's when I knew I was losing my humanity. Ryan held up his wrist device and pressed several buttons. A new hologram appeared, showing a map of the world with hundreds of red dots scattered across it. What are those? Amanda asked. Military forces, Ryan said. Every country on Earth is hunting me now. They're calling me a terrorist, a weapon of mass destruction. They're more afraid of me than they would be of the alien invasion. That's coming. Amanda studied the map. There were red dots everywhere. In America, Europe, Asia, and Africa. How many people are looking for you? Over 50,000 soldiers, Ryan said. They've created a special international task force just to capture me. They're using technology I've never seen before. The hologram changed to show images of strange weapons and vehicles. Some looked like tanks, but with energy cannons instead of regular guns. Others looked like aircraft that could fly faster than anything Amanda had ever seen. They're advancing their military technology to fight me, Ryan sighed. In a way, I'm already changing human history, but not in the way I wanted. What did you want? Ryan made the hologram disappear and sat back down beside Amanda. I wanted to bring people together, unite them against the real threat. Instead, I'm making them more afraid and more divided. As they talked, Amanda noticed that the weather around them was changing. The wind was getting stronger, and lightning was flashing in the distance, even though there were no clouds in the sky. Ryan, she said carefully, are you causing the lightning? Ryan looked at the electrical display in the sky. I don't know. Maybe. My emotions seem to affect the environment now. When I'm angry, electronics break. When I'm sad, it rains. When I'm scared, the ground shakes. That's incredible. It's terrifying, Ryan corrected her. Yesterday, I had a nightmare about my dead family. When I woke up, I had accidentally created a tornado that destroyed an entire forest. No one was hurt, but I did that while I was asleep. Amanda was beginning to understand the full scope of Ryan's problem. You're becoming too powerful to live among regular people. Exactly, Ryan said. And the worst part is, I can feel my power still growing. Every day I can do things I couldn't do the day before. Last week, I could only phase through solid objects. Now I can walk on air. I can make myself invisible. I can even slow down time around me. To demonstrate, Ryan stood up and seemed to disappear for a moment. When he reappeared, he was holding a flower that hadn't been there before. I picked this from a garden 3 miles away, he said. It took me less than a second. Amanda took the flower from him. It was still fresh and covered with morning dew. How fast can you move? I'm not sure, Ryan said. Maybe close to the speed of light. But that's not the strangest thing. Sometimes I think I can see the future. Little glimpses of things that haven't happened yet. What kind of things? Ryan's expression became dark. I keep seeing a vision of myself standing in the Nevada desert. There are thousands of soldiers surrounding me, and they're all afraid. I'm floating in the air, glowing so brightly that I look like a small sun. And then something terrible happens. What happens? I don't know, Ryan said. The vision always ends before I see the worst part. But I know that whatever happens in that desert will change everything. Amanda felt a chill that had nothing to do with the cold mountain air. When do you think this will happen? Soon, Ryan said. Maybe within the next few days. The military is planning something big. I can sense their communications, even when they try to encrypt them. Suddenly, both of them heard the sound of helicopters in the distance. The aircraft were still far away, but getting closer. They found. U.S., Ryan said. I should go. Wait, Amanda said. What do you want me to do? How can I help you? Ryan looked at her with those glowing blue eyes. I need you to do something very important. If something happens to me, if I lose control completely, there's a way to stop me. He handed her a small device that looked like a radio. This is connected to my suit's power source. If I become too dangerous, if I start hurting innocent people, press the red button. It will drain all the temporal energy from my body. What? Will that do to you? It will either make me human again, Ryan said, or it will kill me. Amanda stared at the device in her hands. I can't do that. There has to be another way. There might be, Ryan said. But if there isn't, you might be. The only person who can save the world from me. The helicopter sounds were getting louder now. Ryan walked to the edge of the roof again. Remember what I told you about the Void Collective, he said. If I fail, if I can't find a way to prepare humanity for the invasion, you'll need to try to warn people yourself. Ryan, don't go, Amanda called out. We can figure this out together. But Ryan was already floating in the air, his body glowing like a star against the dark sky. I have to face this alone, he said. It's the only way to know if I'm still human. Enough to save humanity. Then he flew away into the night, leaving Amanda standing on the roof with the device that could destroy the most powerful being on Earth. 3 days after Ryan left Amanda on the observatory roof, news reports began showing something incredible happening in the Nevada desert. Satellites were picking up massive energy readings from a remote area that was normally empty. The military had closed off a 50-mile area around the location, but reporters and helicopters could see bright blue light rising into the sky. Amanda watched the news from her hotel room. She had driven to Nevada as fast as she could, knowing that whatever was happening there would decide the fate of the world. In her pocket, she carried the device Ryan had given her. The news reporter on television looked confused and frightened. We're getting reports that a single individual has somehow stopped an entire army, she said. Military sources won't confirm details, but witnesses say one man is holding off thousands of soldiers without firing a single shot. Amanda turned off the television and drove toward the restricted area. When she reached the military roadblock, she showed her scientist identification and claimed she was part of the research team that had found Ryan. After an hour of phone calls, they let her through. What she saw when she reached the military command post was unlike anything she could have imagined. In the middle of the desert, Ryan was floating 30 feet above the ground. His body was glowing so brightly that he looked like a small star. Around him, in perfect circles, were thousands of soldiers. Their weapons were pointed at him, but none of them were firing. General Patricia Stone was standing beside a table covered with communication equipment. She was shouting orders into several radios at once, but Amanda could see the fear in her eyes. "Why aren't they shooting?" Amanda asked one of the soldiers near her. "They can't," the soldier replied. "Every time someone tries to fire a weapon, it stops working. He's controlling all the electronics in the area." Amanda looked up at Ryan floating in the sky. Even from a distance, she could see that something was very wrong. The blue energy around him was moving in wild patterns, like lightning that couldn't decide where to strike. The air itself seemed to be bending around him. "How long has he been like this?" Amanda asked. 6 hours, General Stone said, overhearing the question. "He appeared this morning and demanded to speak to the leaders of every nation on Earth. When we told him that was impossible, he just stayed there, waiting." Amanda pulled out a pair of binoculars and looked more closely at Ryan. His face was twisted with pain, and his eyes were glowing so brightly that they hurt to look at. She could see that he was fighting against something inside himself. "He's losing control," Amanda said. "We know," General Stone replied. "Our scientists say the energy readings are off the charts. If he releases all that power at once, it could destroy everything within 100 miles. As if he had heard them talking, Ryan slowly descended toward the ground. When his feet touched the sand, a wave of energy spread out from him like ripples on a pond. Every electronic device in the area stopped working for a few seconds and came back to life. "I can hear you," Ryan said. His voice carried across the desert without any amplification, reaching everyone clearly, even though he wasn't shouting. "All of you. Your thoughts, your fears, your plans to destroy me." General Stone grabbed a megaphone. "We don't want to destroy you. We want to help you." Ryan laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound. "You want to help me? You brought nuclear weapons. Here, I can sense them in your trucks. You're planning to use them if you can't capture me." Amanda felt her heart sink. She knew that if the military used nuclear weapons, Ryan's powers would probably absorb the energy and make him even more dangerous. "They don't understand," Ryan continued. "None of you understand. I'm trying to save you from something worse than anything you can imagine." Ryan raised his hands, and a hologram appeared in the sky above the desert. It showed the same images he had shown Amanda before, but much larger. Everyone could see the burning earth of his timeline, the alien ships, the destroyed cities. "This is what's coming," Ryan said. "In 64 years, the Void Collective will arrive. They will destroy every living thing on this planet unless we prepare." Murmurs spread through the crowd of soldiers. Many of them were staring at the horrible images in the sky. "Even if that's true," General Stone called out, "we can't let you threaten innocent people. Your powers are too dangerous." "You're right," Ryan said quietly. "I am too dangerous." The energy around Ryan began to pulse faster. Amanda could feel it from hundreds of yards away, like standing too close to a powerful radio tower. Her skin was tingling, and her hair was standing up. "He's going to lose control completely," Amanda whispered to herself. She pulled out the device Ryan had given her. The red button seemed to glow in the desert sunlight. All she had to do was press it, and Ryan's powers would drain away. But she still didn't know if that would save him or kill him. Ryan was floating in the air again. The sand beneath him was turning to glass from the heat of his energy. Lightning was striking the ground around him, even though the sky was clear. "I can see the future," Ryan said, his voice echoing strangely. "I can see all the possible futures. In most of them, humanity dies. In some of them, I become a monster worse than the aliens I came to warn you about." Amanda made a decision. She ran toward the inner circle of soldiers, ignoring their shouts for her to stay back. "Ryan," she called out, "remember who you are. Remember why you came here. Ryan looked down at her. For a moment, his eyes stopped glowing so brightly. "Amanda," he said, "I remember. I came to save people, but I can't control it anymore. The temporal energy is burning through my body. Soon it will explode out of me whether I want it to or not." "Then use it," Amanda said. "Use it for something good." "What do you mean?" Amanda thought about everything. Ryan had told her about the future. "You said humanity fell because we were divided, because every country fought alone. So show them what we're fighting against. Show everyone on Earth at the same time." Ryan's eyes widened as he understood what she was suggesting. "I could use my powers to broadcast the images to every television, every computer, every communication device on the planet." "Yes," Amanda said. "Give humanity the warning you came to give them. Unite them against the real threat." Ryan closed his eyes and began to concentrate. The energy around him changed from chaotic lightning to a steady, focused glow. Amanda could feel power building in the air, like the pressure before a thunderstorm. "I can do it," Ryan said, "but it will use up all the temporal energy in my body. I don't know what will happen to me after that." "That's a choice you have to make," Amanda said. Ryan looked at all the soldiers surrounding him, then at the cameras that were broadcasting the scene around the world. "If I do this, will you promise me something?" "What?" "Promise me that if I survive this, you'll help me build the Earth Defense Initiative. Help me prepare humanity for what's coming." Amanda nodded. "I promise." Ryan smiled for the first time since Amanda had known him. It was a human smile, warm and genuine. "Then let's save the world," he said. Ryan raised his arms toward the sky. The energy around him exploded outward, but instead of destroying everything, it carried his message. Every screen on Earth suddenly showed the same images: the burning cities, the alien ships, the destruction of humanity. But along with the horrible visions came something else: hope. Ryan's voice spoke to every person on the planet at the same time in their own language. "This is our future if we remain divided," his voice said. "But it doesn't have to be. We have 64 years to prepare. 64 years to come together as one species and defend our home. The choice is yours." The light around Ryan grew brighter and brighter until no one could look directly at him. Then, suddenly, everything went quiet. When the light faded, Ryan was lying on the sand. His suit was no longer glowing. His eyes were closed, and he looked like a normal human being again. Amanda ran to him and knelt beside his still form. For a terrifying moment, she thought he was dead. Then his eyes opened, and they were brown, normal human brown, with no trace of blue light. "Did it work?" he asked weakly. Amanda looked around at the thousands of soldiers who were staring up at the sky where the images had appeared. Many of them were talking urgently into their radios. In the distance, she could see General Stone arguing with someone over a satellite phone. "Yes," Amanda said. "I think it worked." Ryan sat up slowly. He looked at his hands, which were now completely normal. "The temporal energy is gone. I'm human again. Are you disappointed?" Ryan stood up and looked at the sunset painting the desert sky orange and red. "No, I did what I came here to do. Now it's up to humanity to decide what happens next." 3 months later, Amanda stood in a large conference room in Geneva, Switzerland. Representatives from every nation on Earth were sitting around a huge table, arguing about the formation of the Earth Defense Initiative. It was slow work, but they were making progress. Ryan was there too, working as an advisor. Without his powers, he was just another human being. But his knowledge of future technology and military strategy made him invaluable. "Do you think we'll be ready in time?" Amanda asked him during a break in the meetings. Ryan looked out the window at the bustling city below. "I don't know, But for the first time since I woke up from the ice, I have hope. Humanity is finally working together instead of against each other. And the future you came from?